true relationships is
Yeah.
the same thing.
Exactly.
People that will not stand the test of time are those that see you for all your life stuck frozen in a snapshot. You're forced to be that image of what they meant. You've changed.
And that's true, and that's one thing. One reason why I'm really studying about identity.
True.
Identity. And here I am at 30 years old,
You got old
and
one.
I'm just now seeing. Shut up. I'm just now really understanding more about my purpose of why I'm here. You know, I guess growing up in church, you're told, okay, it's one thing to be told, it's one thing to know for yourself.
Yeah.
And when I came across the fact that I was sent here, that very idea of being sent to a place, it can really open up some understanding as to, you know, your identity, your purpose.
Very true.
What are you here for? What are you designed to do? And one thing that I like about that scripture that talks about this treasure is hidden in earthen vessels is because once we realize that we have that treasure, that identity already on inside of us, which he talks about in John 17, where really when you look at the total summation of the scripture, it's really about the glory of God, but it's in us. But what is the glory of God? And it's talking about how Jesus has authority over the flesh. All authority. Okay, he gives us that same authority over all flesh. To know God, to have unbroken fellowship and communion with God, then to share ideas and create with God. These 4 or 5 things are ultimately have the reason why I exist. They ultimately speak to my purpose, my assignment, my identity, all wrapped in those 4 things. Authority over the flesh, not just sexual needs, desires, and all that. Authority over the flesh in terms of what your will to do is here, and illnesses, diseases, your own desires, your own will.
I gotta write that down.
That's
good stuff. That's good stuff.
And then that's why I call it discovering, because you don't just wake up knowing all of this, like this is why I'm here. I don't think anybody just wakes up just knowing. I think it's a discovery as you go, as you walk in life, and it's unfolded to you. You know, it's unfolded to us. So that's something I really want to deal with, especially in terms of our young people, helping more of our young people find out what their identity is, and not try to find it in, you know, what the culture would speak to it being right now, which is someone who, you know, I think the culture right now is defining identity as so many different things than what God intended.
Very, very true. I strongly agree.
It's defining it as, you know, how do you look? Are you wearing the latest design of this? Are you wearing? And this has been going on for. I mean, it was going on. Coming up. It's nothing new at all. What kind of labels are you wearing? What kind of people are you hanging around? What kind of cars are you driving?
I think it's worse now.
You think it's worse now?
It's
Why
worse
you
now
say
than
that?
it was before.
Why you say that?
As far as like the ability to keep up, I think for women, you know, we've always been influenced by hip hop culture. You know, back in the day it was Diddy in Biggie's video with bottles of Cristal, you know, gold chains around the neck. Now people ain't wearing flashy big chains; they wearing little small ones. Then it progressed even now to even more throwback jerseys. Think about how stupid it is that the same thing that costs $400, people will laugh at you for wearing that. So it's I'm lame for wearing something I paid $400 for.
Right.
You know, when you really think about it, doesn't make sense. For women, it's the whole new reality TV thing that has destroyed us. It has really destroyed us. Like, I'll put it this way. There is a dumbing down of a generation like I've never seen before. We have access to more information than we've ever had in the history of our country.
I agree.
But there is a dumbing down. Think about this. Via Facebook, Twitter, we celebrate the inebriated state. We celebrate the lack of thought. It would be cool for me to post on Twitter, sit here now chilling on that Hennessy.
Right.
That's an inebriated state of mind.
Blowing on loud.
Sit here now, blowing on that loud.
Right.
So I'm high. I'm out of my
Right.
mind. What you gonna do tonight? Man, boy, I was so drunk last night. For real?
Yeah.
There you go. There is an excitement of not remembering the inebriated state, but it is not a celebratory thing for me to tweet. Sitting here studying. Sitting here, just sitting here reflecting. Sitting here really planning for the future. We are a generation that celebrates the inebriated state. The lack of thought is celebrated.
That's right. It is.
In a time that we are at a time that invention should be like never before. There are no new inventions. All we have is remakes in a time that we have access to more information. Book reports in my day was encyclopedias.
Oh yeah.
We didn't have Google. You really read those books.
Right. Right.
You know, we went to the library. We laid it all out. Bibles. You laid them out. Now from my phone, I have Strong's Concordance. I have 9 different Bibles.
Your iPad, you got.
I have Bible commentaries. All at the touch of a button. The only bad part is at a time that it is the dumbing down of man, dumbing down of thought. At a time there's no new inventions. You got Facebook and Twitter, things to that effect. You have, products in terms of, technology like we've never had before. Even with the guy who formed Apple, he said his idea was it's computer job to remember things, it's not man's. So he wants man to get to a place that he don't remember anything. Whether we know it or not, his vision was infused on us, and life happened to us but when we look back and remember, when did this happen? We didn't set out in our mind we're gonna start remembering people's phone numbers, stop knowing how to get around our own city and use GPS, without even realizing his vision was for a future that was thrust upon us. So we just walked into it and embraced something without even grabbing a hold of it. If we don't watch out, with us being Christians, with us being kingdom citizens, there will be a culture and a society and an idea of thought that is infused on us that life just happens. We end up getting raptured up and realize that our thought process was infused by someone who did not even believe in God. And I believe we're there. That with the dumbing down of a generation, preachers who do not preach the unadulterated gospel, we teach American greed and commercialism. Our preaching points are filled with blessings and hope and false promises of not humility or discipleship, but that of obtaining tangible means. The exciting points of sermons are that of, now some of y'all, when you done sinning, when you done lying, when you done lusting, God can bless you. So my moral discipline constitutes financial blessing. My tithe constitutes financial blessing. My serving the church constitutes financial blessing. My loving my wife constitutes financial blessing. Everything in my life constitutes a financial blessing.
That ain't the same word I read, bro.
That is commercialism at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this same Steve Jobs, who did not believe in God, is the same man who had a vision and infused his vision that we have now accepted. Now we have Christians, we have preachers, we have prophets, we have apostles who do not have, without a vision, the people perish. What is the vision of the church? Not the local vision, the corporate vision of what God is saying this season. We're in the year of 2772, according to Jewish calendar, which is the year of sight or vision or to see.
Okay.
The year of 2012, the year of kingdom alignment, governmental order. What is God saying to the church in this present day? What is his statement? What is he feeling? What's on his heart? Who's on his heart? What is his shift? Is he telling us holiness of hell, which I don't have a problem with, but is that his message, or is that our creed based on how we were seared from our generation? Our belief system, is it our hope system? Are we still that woman who's cutting the ends of the roast to put it in a pan? Because back in the day, grandma didn't have a pan big enough, but we don't know it, so we think the way you cook roast is to cut the ends. And a time that there's a recession where we can use both ends.
Yeah.
We make pans big enough now. So are we delivering a gospel that we cut the ends of a thing, putting it in a pan with excessive space still left, because we think that's how we're supposed to make it? Or do we ask God, what is he doing now, and why do we do this?